This is it. We are on our way to Harrisburg, the last major sale of the year. We have had a tremendous season, and I think it's a different feel for me. The stress level's a little bit lower. I think honestly we did so well. I think in Lexington, in Ohio, and in Ontario also, that there isn't really a lot left to do. There are some Pennsylvania breds I'd like to get. But as I said to you guys, I said it last year, but even more over this year, a real shopping cart sale for us. And this is what we're going to be going there to look for specific breeds, specific gaits of horses. As I said, the one thing that I could see we were lacking were Pennsylvania trotters, to be honest, which we were pretty flush in last year. So interested to see how this sale is going to play out for us, and interested to see what the sale itself will look like. I know Lexington in some places ran strong, and in other places there were weaknesses and deficiencies. And I think you saw that in Ohio, you saw that in Ontario. Some of the sales were just down, quite frankly. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on exactly all the horses we want to. It's really cool. I'll let people saying, hey, perfect example. Somebody messaged me today, Memory and Imagination's full brothers in the sale. I'm well aware of everybody that's in the sale. And yes, I would love to do nothing more than to go in and buy Memory and Imagination. But now that mare is confirmed as a pretty decent broodmare, I think you have a full brother. And by all accounts, I did look at his video. His video actually looks a little bigger than Memory. So I suspect there's going to be some more eyeballs on there, and there's not going to be any sneaking him out the back door. Not that we did with Memory. We paid $77,000 for him, I believe. I just don't know. I just don't know if there's going to be a lot of leeway here, a lot of wiggle room for a horse like him. What I mean by that is, when you have the breeder as a very strong buyer also in Coyote Wind Farms, I don't know if I would say there's a better than good chance that you're going to see the breeder buy the horse back, which I don't blame him. If I bred Memory and Imagination, watched him race all summer, and had his full brother, who now I can't be certain. And here's the only difference: you exit here to go to the meadows. It's telling us to go straight here. I was wondering if this was going to change because we never go by the meadows to go to thing. Yeah, so you go straight. We're just talking about. This is the route I drive to the meadows every day, but here's where I get off to go to Pittsburgh, Harrisburg. We're going straight. Anyway, so as I was saying, watch the horse race all summer, have what you believe is a bigger version of the colt that you sold. First off, you wouldn't want less than $77,000 for him, and I don't know. Are you going to get that for a Father Patrick? I suspect out of that family you likely will. So there's a better than good chance we won't be coming home with Memory and Imagination's brother, a full brother to Insider Trading. Now you're getting a little closer. Now you're getting a little bit closer. The green shoes, although they sold strong at Lexington, I think you're going to see them get a little haircut here at Harrisburg this year. And is that a colt we could end up with? Yeah, probably. I suspect there's a good chance that would happen. A lot of the green shoe fillies will hold their value because, one, you don't really know what green shoe is going to be as a stallion just yet. Two, they're all bred to fantastic families for the most part. So I think the fillies will stay stronger than the colts. But a full brother? Who is it?
664.
No. Why? Oh, I probably did. I have notes on every horse that looks even remotely interesting in the sale. It wasn't hard when I narrowed down what I wanted to look for and then factored it in. It wasn't hard. I looked at every single horse that is even remotely interesting to this day at this sale. Why, you like that horse? Yeah, okay, we'll look at it. So, Amy's rolling through the catalog right now herself and looking at the horses she likes, but I already have the horses in that I like also. We'll compare notes. We'll look at all the horses tomorrow. We'll bring you notes as the sale goes through. Steve already went to Hanover Shoe Farms for us and made videos of every single horse we're interested in there. So we're well on our way. We're well prepared, and actually, this is the lowest stress I've had heading to Harrisburg in my life. We're on the cusp of just getting everything cleaned up from Lexington. That's done, which is perfect. Obviously we're going to be super tight after that check gets written, but having said that, we're on our way to getting everything cleaned up the way it is. It was great. I had a wonderful conversation with everybody today a couple of people today about, just funding. How's things? Is everything okay? I said, I was able to secure funding for the shares on the board. I thought rather than pick up the phone and frantically call everybody, say, hey, Joe, Paul, Tina, whoever, would you like to buy some shares in horses on the board? I want to get these shares cleaned up. I said, this is the first year maybe I can pivot from that also and say, rather than call people and look for them to buy shares, why don't we ask if anybody wants to help us shoulder the cost of having the shares on there, because that inventory is what is going to be allowing us to bring new clients into the stable, right? That's what we have for our new clients. So rather than just sell everything out as quickly as I can and best I can, what if we can carry it? What if we can carry those shares throughout the fall into the winter and allow us to advertise and market the stable and bring even more people into the sport of horse racing? Because that's what we were built for, right? This was the first year I was able to pivot and do that. So those shares are funded, fully funded on the front end of our site, which is very cool. It was the first year I was able to do it. All our other shares, as I said, we paid for everything right up until Ontario. I got to send Ontario a check. They never send us an invoice yet, Neil. Look and see if there's an invoice there for. I know there's not. I will look later. The only sale that we haven't paid for yet were the 2 horses that we bought in London. We can do that this week, and then every sale up until Harrisburg is taken care of, which is it's supposed to be, but easier said than done sometimes, right? And it's been a very eventful last couple of weeks, but like I said, the fruition of that, what we've come to, is a place where I'm now driving to Harrisburg knowing that this literally is going to be a shopping cart sale, knowing that we are fully funded for what we had to do and where we're going. And it does take a lot of stress off my shoulders, to be quite frank. So, very, very interested in what lies ahead. We have 45 horses under our roof right now, babies, for the stable. We will be looking for aged horses also. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, what have you seen in Harrisburg? Obviously, there's horses to look at in Harrisburg. Are there deals in Harrisburg? We didn't steal anything last year. I mean, obviously it looked like we did when we were done buying Locatelli 2 years ago, and then looks like money last year. Sure, those worked out wonderfully, worked out tremendously, but you can't think that you just go there and buy a horse and it makes money. There's a lot at stake, and one of these years we're going to get clipped and end up with something that we don't like, but that happens. So we are, and we will buy 1 or 2 horses from Harrisburg also in the racehorse variety. Not much in the Broodmare front for us to be purchasing. We're selling 3 potential Broodmares in Swinging Senorita, Horn Player, and Cutie Cumber. I think they'll sell just fine. As far as acquiring, no, I don't think we're going to be acquiring. I'm very happy with the way our stable Broodmare band looks. This will be the first year. We brought our first homebreds in. Now, we did win with my 1%. He was our first ever homebred. And he was good right up until the point we sold him. But this is the first year we got 2 or 3? 2 this year, and I think we have 4 next year. 4 next year, and then hopefully, God willing, we'll have 8 the year after that. So that will be pretty interesting. So that is Harrisburg in a nutshell. I know what we're after. I know what we're looking at right now. Amy's looking at horses she likes and making a list. This is how we do it, and it's the best way to do it. I'm going to make my list. She's going to make her list. We're going to swap. I'm going to look through hers. She's going to look through mine, and then we're going to come up with a full field to look through. Assess them, price them, and then go to the sale. And that's what we're going to do Monday through Friday of next week. Now, last week, it was so cool. We started our season day 1 with Arson winning in Kentucky. I believe those were our first stakes, weren't they? Arson won in Kentucky, looked impressive. Pickpocket was second, then went on to win the next week. We've had a tremendous run in the state of Kentucky this year. We finished off our season in Kentucky also, this time at Corbin. And Arson raced his butt off to finish third. I watched the race 3 or 4 times. What could have I done differently? What could have happened differently? I know exactly what could have went on differently. What we could have done differently, but at the same token, great finish to the year. Great finish to Arson's season also. I thought he raced great dug right to the wire and was a fair and square beaten third in 53-4. A great, as I said, great end to his year. And then for memory and imagination, to go out of the 8-hole, left hard, dropped him in the 4-hole, stalked the front end, and cleaned them up quite easily, quite convincingly. A winner in the final of his, the last stake of his year also. So we started with wins on day one of staking season this year, and we finished with wins on the last day of staking season this year. What else took place? Last week we also had one of our mainstays, a horse we never talk enough about, who's just been a killer all year, and that is Per Lucky. He was a winner again in Illinois. He's been great in Kentucky. He's been great in Indiana last year, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Minnesota. He was great in Minnesota, won the big trot there also, and then back finishing out in Illinois this year, a real road warrior, and has been a great horse for us. A horse that we picked up, now we're on to the first part of the week, a horse that we picked up, White Tiger, raced good to finish fourth. Unbeatable Kemp, we're still working the kinks out of, trying to get him in a proper spot to get racing consistently. I thought his mile was flat the other day, but they did go faster, right? So I wasn't disappointed with him. But a horse that was very, very impressive to me was All Gas, No Brakes. This horse got 2 in a row now, 3 wins for us in a very short period of time. It was a very affordable purchase on gate, and he's ended up doing great things for us already. I don't know where he starts and ends, but I know he fits that class for a couple more, and then I'd love to see him slide into that optional 50 claimer at Mohawk. That would be fantastic to round out the year. And he made it back. I talked earlier about sometimes, people saying, well, what about this guy's brother or that guy's brother? And then we'll have people that say, I will not buy siblings of my horses, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Just treat them all as individuals. It's nice to say, yeah, I had that horse, or, I raced against that horse. Pretty nice horse, all accounting. Whether people say both sides, we'll never and absolutely look. Me, I'll look, because if I have a horse that we had the sibling that I liked, of course I'm going to go look at the brother and the sister, compare them physically, and hope that they have the same good attributes that I remember of that particular horse, or quite the opposite. Does that horse look the same? I didn't really love the work ethic of that horse or that attitude, but maybe they look totally different, are totally different, seem totally different. Case in point, we bought Compass Rose DC's sister. What's her name? Leggy?
Yeah, by the way, I know what you're about to say.
No, I know she kicked at somebody on the track the other day, but she's not mean at all.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not. Compass Rose DC was a nasty, nasty filly. She'd bite your face off if you stood in front of her. I say this.
Asked Dr. Mike when he came to her.
No, stop.
Because he asked if he could build her, and I said, well, she doesn't have any.
That's ridiculous. Leggy is a sweetheart. Compass Rose DC, at the end of her 2-year-old season, had the same caretaker, George McGuigan, for the entire season. In the very last race, at night, in the paddock, she just reached forward and grabbed him by the chest as a grown man, and it literally looked like somebody shot him. She was mean, and she'd kick you too. Your sister just seemed nice, Leggy. Amy says she's a little particular, doesn't like the veterinarian, but I know I jogged her. I thought she was a sweetheart on the track.
Stand there with her ears pinned.
No, and I don't think she'd bite you. Well, she might be a little crabby at times, but nothing like Compass Rose. She was just mean. She was a mean horse. So, obviously, when I went up to look at Leggy, I'm like, oh, there's Compass Rose DC's sister. She looks better than Compass Rose DC. More filled out, more stout. Walk up, she got her ears up. Oh, my God. You'd never catch Compass Rose with her ears up. She was just a good-looking filly, but mean. The other filly, very, very nice. So, yes, I have no problem looking at siblings, of course. And it's no different than any sport. How do you hear it all the time? Oh, so-and-so, he's a cousin of, a guy that plays on another team, or the second cousin, or, his brother. It's human nature. So, yes, we look at horses all the time. And we'll, we are interested in them all the time. So, and on to that point, we do buy horses back sometimes, right? I used to have a horse, if you guys have ever taken a deep dive into Anthony McDonald's life and read any articles or watched any videos where I was asked specifically my favorite horse of all time, And it's going to take a good horse to dethrone the Big Fred. Now, one, this is a horse that was named after my father. We named him after my dad. And he wasn't special. Never won any major stake races. He won an overnight series at Georgian Downs one time, a little bat trotting series, I think it was called. Apparently back when he could name things after alcohol and beer. But he was the horse. You know, if things got tight at the end of the month or at any part of the month when I was a kid, he just always seemed to race good, like race better than usual. It was like he knew that money was needed, and he always came through. And it was just one of those horses I never forgot. I sold him twice. I bought him back twice for obviously a lot less than we paid for him. And he just did so good for myself and my family. One of the happiest days I saw my father in horse racing. We won that race, the Labatt. I think it was called the Labatt Trotting Series. And they had like a little trophy. And mine, it may as well have been the North American Cup. My father was so proud. And it was just really one of those happy times. And I'll always remember the Big Fred for one, you know, the thrill that he gave my father. But two, for the times when I was down and out and needed him, and he always was there. And you don't always see that. I tell you guys all the time, this is a merciless game, and no one's going to be waiting around to help you up. Fred was. And he just always, if anybody ever puts me on the spot and said, favorite horse of all time, it's going to take a good horse to dethrone the Big Fred, I can tell you that. And so we do buy horses back from time to time, and Enzo Aguayo has found his way back to the stable. Steve just wasn't having much luck with him towards the end. He did good towards the spring, I think, and then in the summer, kind of fizzled out. And Steve's focused on broodmares and babies this time of year. So if any of the race horses aren't doing well, he just moves them on. And I don't blame him, but that's Steve. That's how he does it. He called me frustrated that he couldn't get them sold for a fair price. And to be fair, the price he quoted me was more than fair. And we ended up buying him back. And his first start was the other night, and he was a winner. Something we couldn't do with him. Bought him as a baby, trained him down, thought highly of him, broke all our hearts. Ended up selling him at the end of his 2-year-old. Never had a pari-mutuel victory for us in all that time. Won for Steve once. We bought him back, and at first asking, he was winner. Now he's in tougher this week coming up. I got to talk to Chris. Chris Lemps is driving him. I'm going to talk to him. He's a little funny at the gate still. Roots his head and throws his head. A little funny at the gate. But for the most part, he was good the other day. Really good. So we'll see how he races on Tuesday evening. But last Tuesday, he was a winner at Northfield Park. Wednesday, Thursday, we had great runs in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Cutie Cumber made her last start for us a winning one. She was a winner in 59 or something, but she won. Coupe de Ville just got beat at the wire in 58 or something. Raced very, very good. Five Fish Species was a winner, or was second. May as well have been a win. Was second that night too, and raced fantastic. Cupid Express raced fantastic also. Very, very happy with the way she raced. Earlier in the afternoon, or maybe the next day in the afternoon, Smoking Hot Irish Girl. Again, had she not been coming off a break, and I just really had to be conservative with her, because I put her on the run in that one spot where she ran the week before, now she's going to qualify. So I had to be a little safer with her. If I had been able to throw caution to the wind a little bit, maybe poked her a couple of times down the lane, I think she's a winner in 55-4. Great mile for her, and she looked very, very good doing it. Unique Style was a third, but a very ordinary pedestrian third. This guy's just okay. And I think he'll remain just okay as we head into the latter part of the fall. We'll sell him. There's a number of horses that will be going up for sale shortly after Harrisburg. I'm just trying to figure out the right timing of it all. The last thing I want to do is put 8 horses up for sale and buy 4 of them back. So we'll see if something makes sense. I think right after Harrisburg's maybe the way to go, because there's people that didn't get horses they wanted at Harrisburg. I think in my mind that makes sense. So I think we will probably list some of those horses for sale after Harrisburg. Greatest Ending, another second, not a great second, but a second. Again, he's moving forward, getting a more regular rotation for this guy every 7 days. I think you're going to see him start coming on and coming on and coming on. I was very, very happy with the way that he the way that he looked the other day. Think of Galaxies. Best race she's gone since the last time she won. A real lull there in Dayton. She got chewed up. Her next 2 starts at Northfield, she was not great. I guess she was second. She was okay the last start, but not the way she was. It's certainly not even remotely as good as she was the other day at the Meadows. So I hope to God that we can get her in a regular rotation also, where she's not missing 2 or 3 weeks and we got to ship her here or go here. I'd like to just stay at the Meadows with her for a little while. That would be helpful. And then obviously last night you saw the fillies. I thought that Swingy Senior Year raced good. Finished 6th, but raced good. JK Victory was a little flat, but geez, he's raced great all year. It's the first check he's missed in Indiana. The horse has been great. But obviously Tactical Mount stole the show again. And after talking to Scotty, after talking to Megan, I think we're probably leaning towards pulling the plug on her for 2024. She'll likely be turned out in Peninsula Farms, where we have our other horses turned out. There's, what's left for her. There's 2 races left, but she just didn't seem as strong or sharp as she was, and that's understandable. She's been going all year long also. None of the horses she raced against on Hambo Day or any of those stake days are still continuing to go. I guess the Matron would be the last stop for them, but aside from the Matron, there's nothing there for them. So that's what we have. That's what we've done. That's what we continue to do at the stable. Off to Harrisburg right now. It should be a lot of fun. As I said, the least stressful trip I've ever taken to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania was right now. So it should be a lot of fun. Amy and I are going to have a ball. I hope you guys are there. Anybody who wants to come out with us, shoot me a text. Let me know what you would like to do. We go to dinner every night. We're around the sale every day. It should be a ton of fun for everybody, and most certainly thestable.ca. So Curtis is here tomorrow with Mark McKelvey. We're going to have the show on every day next week. It should be a ton of fun from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.